Fallout 4 is a game in which you must experience the daily struggles of living in Boston, such as an acute housing shortage, inclement weather, and the New England Patriots. Developed by Bethesda Game Studios, hot off the heels of the success of Fallout 3, 7 years earlier. Boy, I sure hope we don't have to wait 7 years for Fallout 5. Fallout 4 boasts many gameplay innovations, such as tolerable graphics, post-apocalyptic Minecraft, and a dedicated sarcasm button. But wait, there's more. The map is bigger, the guns are bigger, the hats are bigger, even the plot is bigger. Because Bethesda couldn't choose between rehashing the plot of Fallout 3 or rehashing the plot of New Vegas, you'll rehash both at once as you brave the harsh wasteland of Taxachusetts on a rescue mission / quest for vengeance. While you're reenacting the plots of Taken and John Wick simultaneously, you'll meet several factions, each of which will employ you as a hitman and/or exterminator, and it's up to you to decide who will reclaim and rebuild all these Dunkin' Donuts for themselves. But no matter who you choose, the physical task of rebuilding will fall exclusively to you, and you alone, by yourself. Because radiation has melted everyone's brains to the point they've forgotten how to plumb a wall, mix cement, or hammer a nail, you must operate a full-service design-build construction company, meaning you can design and build your own wasteland settlements until you realize that they're functionally useless and store all of your unused companions at your gas station bachelor pad. Speaking of ancient decrepit infrastructure, Fallout 4 pushes Bethesda's creation engine to its limit by finally inventing the reverse shot. That's right, no longer are all conversations conducted while NPCs wait for you to take their mugshot. But that's not the only improvement, because now you can actually run the game without having to install 14 stability mods. Of course, the game speed is still tied to the frame rate, which was fine when I was running this on my old Crapbox 1000, but when I upgraded my PC because Todd told me I had to, the character models move faster than the voice lines they're delivering, meaning the last syllable of each line gets cut off like the final episode of The Sopranos. But despite all that, before we go any further, I want to clarify one point. I am a Fallout 4 apologist and I will not apologize. This is my favorite Fallout game, maybe even my favorite game of all time. It's definitely better than those first two games. And before any of you so-called Fallout fans start composing death threats in the comments because you don't understand the concept of irony, all I can say is, you're just not as much of a fan as I am, and I can prove it mathematically. Besides, you're not here for my smooth brain takes, you're here for the Taco Bell sound effect. But if you think I'm gonna take this game to task with my usual lowbrow comedy and ripped green screen edits, you're fucking right. However, just know that any criticism I make, any nitpicks I take, any fists I shake, all come from a place of genuine love and affection. The kind of love and affection you have for like a 15-year-old incontinent dog. So strap on those pit boys, scrap those pipe pistols, and rev up those fryers as we park the car at Harvard Yard in Fallout 4. Welcome to Boston, where every day God flips a coin to decide what season it's going to be. Heads for summer, tails for winter, and on its side for nuclear winter. We play as Johnny Fallout, war criminal and international bad boy, or his wife, a lawyer, who I can only assume he met at his trial. Together we have an animatronic doll we're pretending is a human child for tax purposes. But now we must face the ultimate consequences of runaway consumer capitalism. Good morning! Vault Tech calling. I don't care who the IRS sends, I am not paying taxes. Haha, no sir. I'm here to tell you that the dildo of consequence rarely comes lubed, and I'm here to sell you protection. If you're the condom salesman, you're 9 months too late. Haha, no sir. I'm here to sell you and your family protection from the consequences of runaway consumer capitalism. Sounds ironic? Haha, no sir. You and your family will have a spot in Vault 111. Speaking of which, you should probably head over. We're expecting a second sunrise in a few minutes. Huh, that's strange. It's awfully orange out today. We make our way to Vault 111, where the elevators are designed to maximize drama at the expense of my retinas. Don't worry about a thing. We're really chill here. You're in for a cool experience. Hopefully you don't feel like we're giving you the cold shoulder. Heat your junk up, samurai. Shitballs, it's cold. Hon, you're still flying. Just let her hold the kid. Okay, I'm not victim blaming. But what did you think was gonna happen? Go the fuck back to sleep, samurai. Okay, now wake the fuck up, samurai. After getting frozen and sent to the future, like Squidward testicles, we make our way out of the tutorial hole as the sole survivor, not just of the freezer aisle, but of the entire United States. But if we're accepting the 44 caliber call to adventure, we'll need to gather supplies and hope some of these 200-year-old guns still work. Now that we've been turned loose on the Commonwealth, we get to discover and explore many interesting and unique places, starting with our own house. Welcome to Sanctuary Hills, where our prefabricated house with no vapor barrier has managed to survive a nuclear shockwave and 200 years of acid rain, possibly because it's still being taken care of by your indentured robot servant, Cogsworth, who isn't a slave because I used a different word. Cogsworth? Have you been cleaning this town for 200 years? Yes, sir, I have. Well then, why does it still look like shit? Get back to work. If I'm to clean house, I'll need you to pick up some bleach from the hardware store in Concord. Try not to drink it on the way back. On our way to find some bleach to drink, we meet a purebred German Shepherd for some reason. What's the matter, boy? You say little Timmy's in trouble? What's this about an island? Welcome to Concord, the birthplace of the American Revolution, and also grape jelly. And in that same revolutionary spirit, the Museum of Freedom is under siege from some patriots exercising their Second Amendment rights by attempting to shoot up the building. But this guy's dressed like a fucking dork, so he must be an important character. Hey you, grab that laser musket and come help me. This looks worse than the shit that got Shinzo Abe. Using a Futurama joke, we crank our way through the Raiders. Just call me Christmas with the Cranks. I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Why are you guys hiding in the attic of a museum on the American Revolution? Is this supposed to be a metaphor? My name is Preston Garvey. I'm here to bring back those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely. You see, I'm a Minuteman guy. You can't bring back the past, dipshit. Of course you can. History is cyclical. Don't you remember that war never changes bit from the intro? That's not meant to be a good thing. Aren't you a war criminal? No, I'm just a man who enjoys a good execution. A week ago, there were 20 of us. Yesterday, there were 10. Now there's only 5 of us left. Sounds like a skill issue. After facilitating the second Boston Massacre, Preston makes us an offer. We sure could use someone like you doing all our renovations for us. I'll mark it on your map. Nah, kid, fuck settlement building. It fucking sucks dick. Get your ass to Diamond City. Why should I do that? I'm gonna be real with you for a sec, kid. I'm high as shit right now. Now you must single-handedly rebuild your old subdivision if you want to move the Minutemen quest line forward. That means you must act as a carpenter, electrician, and defense contractor. However, due to strict HOA guidelines, any and all new construction must match the existing neighborhood character, which in this case happens to be irradiated rubble. Hey guys, Big Beak the Builder here, and on today's episode of This Old Shack, we'll be hanging some lights, a door, and myself. Normally I like settlement building, but it's frustrating when I'm trying to keep my upload schedule to a tight 3 months and have to spend several dozen hours playing Bob the Builder in the corner of the map, and we don't exactly have time to horse around. So let's make like George Bush and put nation building aside in favor of some more mindless imperial violence. And if there's one group that can help me with that, it's the Brotherhood of Steel. Welcome to the town of Cambridge. Instead of being populated by Nepo babies trying to trick tourists into rubbing the piss statue, we find a military patrol from the Brotherhood of Steel about to be overrun by a vicious pack of 12 radiation victims. Thanks for helping us out. That was a real close call. Oh yeah, man, that was a real close call. Not like you're in a giant steel exoskeleton or something. Oh my god, just take the damn compliment. Here we meet Brotherhood Paladin Dance. The power armor stays on during sec. We help him raid a lab so he can phone home. Hopefully nothing consequential will happen because of this. During this mission, we're forced to confront synths from a shadowy organization called the Institute. And by confront, I mean fucking incinerate. You showed real steel balls today, especially how you were willing to sacrifice me to kill your enemies. So I'd like to invite you to join the Brotherhood of Steel. What's the Brotherhood of Steel? 3 fucking guys who can't hold one building? Fuck off. I wouldn't join you if you rode into town on a giant blimp. I'll put you down as a maybe. Speaking of political dissidents, as we approach Diamond City, we find a woman demanding to speak with McDonald's manager, Mayor McCheese.
What kind of fucking McDonald's has a message?
Piper, I've had it up to here with your tabloid gossip. How dare you publish that I'm secretly a synth infiltrator because you're a synth fan? That's a nice argument, Piper. Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up. Piper, for the last time. There's no such thing as the Institute, and there's no such thing as synths. I'm trying to find my son. Oh, well then you want the synth detective that lives just off Main Street. I'm going to become the Jonker. Welcome to Diamond City, the largest city in the Commonwealth somehow. Because every Bethesda city has to have a theme, the theme of this town is Bethesda couldn't get the rights to the Red Sox likeness. Consequently, any mention of them has been sandblasted and Fenway has been transformed into a generic ballpark. Despite half the town dressing as umpires, nobody even knows what baseball is. Except for Mo Cronin, who thinks it was some kind of blood sport that would have actually been fun to watch. Diamond City plays host to several important public services, such as the radio station, the robot bar, the waspy bar, the meat bar, and the Russian bar. The Russian bar? What is this, still the fucking land of opportunity? What does the rest of the world look like that people are still emigrating here? There's also a security department trained extensively in de-escalation. They're also not allowed to help with missing persons cases by order of the mayor. Because there's been no political blowback from this, if we want to find our son, there's only one man we can turn to, Detective Nick Valentine. But first, we need to find him. Detective Valentine has gone missing investigating Skinny Malone's hideout for a kidnapped girl. And by investigating, I mean just walking into a mob bar and asking what crimes they've committed. To free Nick, we must enter the practical joke that is the Boston Metro Transit System. We infiltrate the crime vault, and by infiltrate, I mean raid the place like Judge Dredd. Thank God these people self-identify as mobsters, or else this kind of turn off the body cameras, shoot first, ask questions, never use of force might be considered excessive. We didn't even know for sure if Nick is here, let alone that he's in trouble. For all we know, his secretary was just trying to get rid of us because he was hung over in the back. Luckily for us and our criminal liability, Nick is not only here, not only falsely imprisoned, but also ready to unleash some righteous justice on these sinners. Except of course for the one person actually responsible, Skinny Malone. Damn it, Nicky, you come into my house, you kill all my guys, and cost me my girl? Yeah, but I was stuck in your basement, so that's all justifiable homicide. Oh, well that's alright then. then, back at Nick's office in Diamond City, we're immediately hired as a detective due to our excessive use of force, as well as run through our case with Nick. He's a prototype synth with the memories of a pre-war detective. So what did this guy look like, and what racial minority was he a part of? He was white, actually. White, like, Hispanic? What kind of cop did you say you were again? Just answer the question. He was Caucasian and bald. Well, there's only one bald man in the entire game. Let's go rob his house. It turns out John Harvey Kellogg was living in Diamond City with a young boy, and no one had any questions about it. After some light breaking and entering, we find Kellogg's yogurt enema chamber. What was the chair for? Did he just sit there and stare at the wall? Hey boy, can you use this scent to find Kellogg? No, Kellogg, not Flight Log. Dogmeat leads us to Battle Creek Sanitarium, where Kellogg leads us through a series of audio lectures on eugenics. Well, if it isn't the most resilient man in the... People of Massachusetts, do not be alarmed. We were the protagonists of the previous game. We're really cool, we swear. Suddenly I'm regretting not taking Dance up on his offer. Back in Diamond City, we return to Nick's office to discuss what to do now that we've killed our most promising lead. You didn't happen to grab any part of his brain while you were there, did you? Well, luckily for you, I know someone who can help us. Welcome to Good Neighbor. The theme of this town is fucking crime. It's just crime, but just like the vibes? Besides the mayor stabbing a guy in broad daylight, this neighborhood is more policed than the whitest gated community in South Africa. Within this crime slum exists the Memory Den, a high-tech laboratory where people can relive their cherished memories of picking through the rubble of the Commonwealth, but I guess their back hurts less or something. Using the suicide pods from Fallout 3, we're able to flatline ourselves so we can communicate with Kellogg in the afterlife.
You're about to take a trip through the human brain.
Welcome to Kellogg's Frosted Brain Flakes. Using Nick as a host, we journey through whatever was left of Kellogg's cherished childhood memories after we sent a nuke on an express trip through his skull. That's when we learned that Kellogg had a rough childhood. Yeah, no shit. I didn't think anyone who kidnapped babies for a living would be well adjusted. We learned that between murders, Kellogg was living in Diamond City with young Sheldon at the Institute's request to bait us into killing him. We also learned that the Institute has a fucking teleporter. Well, now that you've seen Kellogg had kind of a rough childhood, don't you feel bad about killing him? Not even slightly. But he was a person. If anything, I feel a little better, actually. What? I kinda wanna kill someone else now. You should get out of here. Head south. You might just find what you're looking for there. Welcome to the Glowing Sea. During the Great War, Massachusetts became so irradiated that the map itself developed a tumor. And now we need to brave this shattered landscape in search of a nerd named Virgil. Luckily for us, Bay Staters aren't affected by any kind of winter, even nuclear winter. It's not that cold, guys. If anything, it's weirdly warm. This is still probably healthier than swimming in the Charles. Deep in this radioactive wasteland, there are many hidden secrets to discover, including the rarest thing in a Bethesda game, a settlement where nobody needs anything. The Children of Adam send us to speak with a former Institute scientist named Virgil, who has been transformed into a super mutant through what I can only assume was a fucking hilarious lab accident. You want to get into the Institute? You'll need at least an SAT score of 2100, a GPA of 3.98, and an essay about how you overcame adversity. What kind of adversity? You could kill a Terminator. If we want to get into the Institute, we'll need to pad out our extracurriculars by ripping a chip out of the head of a courser. An Institute Blade Runner. What are you doing here? I'm about to take a trip through the human brain. We now have the chip, but if we want to make it inside the Institute, we'll have to decode it. Welcome to Old North Church, home of the railroad. Because why have your secret headquarters be in any building when you can have it in a historic landmark with a giant red line leading right to your front door? The railroad is a post-apocalyptic civil rights organization, except unlike the followers of the apocalypse who wanted to help everyone in the post-nuclear wasteland, the railroad fields a small army dedicated to liberating synths from their menial labor. It's like if Amnesty International fielded a division of Navy SEALs, but only used them to steal people's Roombas. We seek to free the synth from their bondage, because no one else will. It's literally the apocalypse outside. Most people spend their days fighting off zombies and orcs. I'm not surprised they're not stepping up for synth liberation. How did you get inside our base? You even knew our secret password. You guys know there's a fucking line all over this city that leads right here, right? Also, what secret password? It's just your name. What, was password too hard to remember? The railroad frees synths from the Institute, wipes their memories, and ships them out of state, which is like lobotomizing an injured dolphin and releasing it on a nuclear testing site. But considering how familiar they are with the inside of synths' heads, they're the only ones who can retrieve the teleporter telemetry from the courser chip. Thanks for the data. Wait, before you leave, do you want to join the railroad? Absolutely not. Fantastic, let's go to your first assignment. Now that I'm forced to continue the railroad questline against my will, we must help Deacon infiltrate the local Dunkin' Donuts to retrieve a gun that doesn't look completely fucking ridiculous. Beneath the donut shop is an old railroad base that was raided by the Institute, but now their base is more secure because they have a password. Speaking of raiding people's underground bunkers, it's time to serve the Institute an Uno reverse card. Hey Sturgis, sorry to take you away from all your important work, but I need you to build a teleporter. Well, me and the boys have made absolutely no progress putting this town back together, but yeah, sure, I can help you build a teleporter. Why is it that Sturgis knows how to build a teleporter out of aluminum cans and dog shit, but can't figure out how to use a hammer? Good luck finding your son, General. I always knew you were a family guy. If I'm atomized, nobody gets my stuff. None of you deserve it. Ah, my molecules! Fucking ouch. Welcome to the Institute, where they spend their time 3D printing an endless stream of himbos in an attempt to create the next generation of VTuber. They've turned their back on humanity, and the people living out in the wasteland are little more than barbarians to them, very similar to the Enclave in Fallout 3. But unlike the Enclave, their plan isn't the shallow machinations of a Captain Planet villain. In fact, their plan is so complicated that nobody, not the player character, not the Institute staff, not even the director, seem to know what it is. But we do find a kid trapped in a glass chamber. Oh shit, is this what Dogmeat was talking about? It's me. I'm Sean. Hi Sean, I'm Dad. I was raised by the Institute, and now I'm its leader. Okay, what's with the human-like robots? Please tell me this isn't a weird sex thing. Do you want to join the Institute? Well, I have some concerns. I'm just gonna pretend you said yes. You should go check the place out. Since we're just kind of rolling with it, we get to meet the Institute's various departments, such as bioscience. What's with the gorillas? Is the Institute's plan to return to Monkey? They're a surprise tool that will help us later. The Blade Runner division. What work are you having these synths do? Mostly menial labor, like sweeping the floor and fixing some pipes? Okay, and what part of that mandate requires them to have human emotions? And advanced physics, where we just happen to run into the worst obstetrician on the East Coast. What are you a doctor of, exactly? I'm a doctor of minding your own fucking business, that's what. Well, Dad, now that you've met everyone, how about we play catch? I'd love to, son. Okay, here's the location of a synth you need to catch for me. I'll mark it on your map. Hey guys, it's me, Big Beak Entertainment, and today we'll be running some fucking errands for our son, which in this case means enforcing the Fugitive Slave Act. Of course, we can always take a page straight out of the dad's playbook and go out for a pack of smokes and never come back. Every Bethesda game has a point in the main story where you just kind of stop giving a shit and start getting sidetracked, and for me, that's right here. So this is as good a time as any to introduce you to the other faction's questline, starting with the vegans. The Railroad continues to live up to their name as we get railroaded from one mission to the next, such as fetch quests, package delivery jobs, and running messages. Oh my god, I've become a mailman. Of course, if we don't want to join the Railroad, we can always sign up with the Brotherhood of Steel. Are you ready to get higher than you've ever been in your life? Welcome to the Nightmare Blunt rotation that is the Fallout 4 Brotherhood of Steel. Back at it again with those child soldiers, I see. The Brotherhood of Steel is a militaristic, authoritarian, medieval LARPer session dedicated to shooting and looting pre-war technology. On the blimp, we're introduced to Elder Arthur Maxon. We've met him previously in Fallout 3, where he was a child soldier who got benched for accidentally shooting Sarah Lyons. But now that he's finished what he started, he controls the Brotherhood of Steel on the East Coast. If the haircut and the talk of exterminating abominations doesn't give it away, the Brotherhood of Steel has officially crossed the event horizon of YouTube demonetization. I guess this is what Fox made me die for in Fallout 3. It's always fun to live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I've heard good things about you, soldier, and I'm looking for a special soldier. Part monk, part hitman, part pest control specialist. Go to hell. Excellent. Here's your next assignment. Now that the gang's all here, we get to choose which faction will finally conquer Red Sox Nation. Will it be the racists, the racists, the racists, or the progressive racists? Because I am a YouTube shill, I let my subscribers decide, and apparently they want me to support Presto Gravity's Minutemen, because my subscribers love to see me suffer. But the joke's on you. I was fully prepared to rig the vote to achieve this outcome. I'm not some fair-weather fighter. I'm Preston's strongest soldier. I unironically love the Minutemen. I love these guys. I love their stupid hats. I love the overall aesthetic. This is how men would dress if society let us. Me and the boys on our way to not pay our taxes. Fallout 4 has many excellent, meaningful, and well-regarded faction questlines, but we won't be doing any of them thanks to some true patriots. Instead, after getting promoted to general faster than Jar Jar Binks, we sell our souls to the devil in exchange for becoming a land developer. Hey guys, it's me, General Bigby, and welcome to the Dudes Rock Militia. In order to expand our burgeoning real estate portfolio, I must now rebuild the Minutemen by becoming a door-to-door hitman. Luckily for me and my limited skill set, nobody has a problem with the solution more complicated than go to the next location and smoke whatever you find living there. This is the equivalent of Joe Biden working as your fucking Orkin man. Except your local Orkin man has more political legitimacy than I do. Hey Preston, when are we actually gonna have elections? What the hell is an election? There must be some mistake. I'm supposed to be rebuilding America. Plant the fucking corn! Despite the game framing the Minutemen as the Second American Revolution, I seem to have somehow built a highly factional military dictatorship held together exclusively by myself. Whoops, I've accidentally invented Yugoslavia. It's all the violence of the American Revolution with none of the idealism. That being said, you can't trust these people with self-rule when you can't even trust them with the most basic construction project. Damn, bitch, you live like this? Now that we have 5 farmers on our side, we need an ancient, decrepit, flooded, crab-infested pit with a bunch of holes in the wall. That shithole is the castle, a fort that's so outdated the Chinese didn't even bother nuking it. It's so outdated it was conquered by fucking crabs. But using several farmers and several more nuclear weapons, we're finally able to liberate the Krusty Krab. This also gives us the ability to use artillery, whose power is matched only by its inconvenience. I can either throw a smoke grenade that drops a bomb after like a minute and a half, or I can cut out the middleman and throw a real grenade. But there's just something about being in the shit that makes you want to call in a danger close artillery strike on your own position and die gloriously like a hero of the Soviet Union. Or you can return to your war criminal roots. The faction quest lines come to a head at Bunker Hill. The Institute gets word the railroad is moving 4 synths from a safe house here. Is 4 a lot? No. The railroad then tasks their entire elite infantry division to protect the synths, and the Brotherhood shows up to fuck shit up. So that was an absolute disaster. Yeah, I've gotten some pretty concerning reports that you let the synths go. You want to explain that one to me, Dad? Why did you program them to feel fear? I've been asking that for a while, and the fact that no one has answered me is pretty fucking concerning. I thought we could be a normal family. I thought I could unfreeze you, and if you survived, you could kill my enemies and repo my stuff. But you have to go around asking why Roombas feel fear. You're still not answering the question. You're in deep shit, Junior. I'm 60 years old. Well, I'm 200 years old. Then we appear to be at an impasse. Fuck you and the teleporter you rode in on. I still love you, son. See you at Christmas. Hey guys, Big Beak Entertainment here, and welcome to Bloons Tower Defense 4. For no narrative reason I can discern except to be a dick, Sean has ordered the Institute to wipe out the Minutemen. But despite having a fucking teleporter, they still don't have the element of surprise, and I can set up as many turrets as I want to repel them. We found a way into the Institute through an old pipe. A pipe? That doesn't sound very secure. How did I miss that one? Well, to get to it, you have to swim in the Charles. Now that we have, for some reason, come into conflict with the Institute, we must infiltrate the gamer basement and unplug the console once and for all. We break into the bioscience lab and become combatants in the Gombe chimpanzee war. Given how eager these apes were to rip me limb from limb, I can only conclude primate warfare is evolving too rapidly. This isn't animal cruelty. This is a preemptive strike. It's over, Sean. I killed your gorillas. The monkey business is over. Gorillas are apes, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry it's come to this. Hi, sorry it's come to this. I'm Dad. Because completing the Minutemen quest requires soft-locking the other faction quest lines, the Brotherhood of Steel has been placed in a state of lunonarrative limbo wherein their airship is just hanging out over Logan Airport for basically no reason. We should nuke them. Preston, we can't just keep nuking everyone we don't like. Isn't that the whole point of the Fallout series? If war doesn't change, men must change and all that shit? I think we should limit ourselves to 1 nuclear first strike per day, pal. This game is missing a 4th act, the Fallout Act. This would have been a fantastic opportunity to create a 4th act with DLC like they did for Fallout 3. Fallout 4 actually has the most DLC of any Fallout game with 7. 4 that matter, and 2 that anyone actually care about. But let's start with Automatron. In Automatron, we must join forces with a killer robot to kill a killer robot army while creating our own killer robot army. Also, I gave Cogsworth legs. The Mechanist is releasing robots all over the Commonwealth, and we need to stop them, so we do that. Infiltrating the Mechanist's admittedly baller lair, we discover the Mechanist is actually a girl. Oh, well, that's alright then. Despite the Mechanist being a fundamentally good person, she has accidentally created an army of robots hellbent on violence and destruction, just like Taylor Swift. Then the final terminal doesn't work, so I can't actually finish the main quest. They place the terminal high enough to activate, but too low to walk to. I feel like the developer is trying to edge me from 2016. I had to go into the console and turn on NoClip like a dirty criminal. But the real item in Automatron's pros column isn't the story. It's the ability to send an army of sentry bots to secure the roads by assigning them as provisioners. This provides more strategic control over the Commonwealth than the entire Minutemen quest line. But if you thought this DLC was good, just wait till you see what Bethesda's cooking up next.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Okay, you guys can stop cooking. What the fuck? Who the fuck broke into Bethesda and made this? You guys got no business making something this good. In Far Harbor, you must find a missing person, because apparently that's the only inciting incident Bethesda knows how to write. But if I'm going on a detective mission with my boy Nick, I'll need to dress the part. Kenji Nakano has asked Valentine's Detective Agency to investigate the disappearance of his daughter Kasumi.
She's not in there!
As common law partners, Nick and I go on a couple's retreat to a lovely bed and breakfast in coastal Maine. Welcome to Far Harbor, a town on the ass end of nowhere, under siege by a combination of giant salamanders, extreme humidity, and the most corrosive threat of all, evangelicals. Kasumi has gone to a synth commune at the center of the island called Acadia, run by Nick's long-lost brother Dima. Throughout the base game, Nick has been struggling with who he is without the original Nick Valentine's memories, and it turns out he's a bitch. For real, Dima will say the most catty shit and then just go, but who am I to judge? Even name-dropping the railroad buys you no credit with him. The railroad? You mean the guys who scare synths into wiping their personalities in a misguided attempt to keep them safe? But who am I to judge? Kasumi is convinced she's a synth. Well, we can settle that right now. Bethesda. Hey, do we have a synth named Kasumi Nakano? Nope. Well, the railroad probably wouldn't have killed and replaced the real Kasumi, so she must not be a synth. You're not a synth. That's the thing. I'll never know for sure. What? You're not in the fucking records. There's a fucking paper trail. Kasumi says she's not going home because something here is sus. The children of Adam are renting Dima's old apartment, and he's worried they might find his stash of incriminating memories. So he assigns us to pretend to be one of Adam's faithful and infiltrate the church. Welcome to the Nucleus, also known as the most disgusting place I've ever seen. Holy shit. Nobody in the Fallout universe showers, but these guys extra don't shower, and instead spend their days soaking in radioactive piss water. They even put it in their light bulbs. I can fucking smell this place. Children of Atom, the time has come to sit here and wait for someone else to solve all of our problems. Up to this point, the DLC has been pretty great, but this is still Bethesda we're talking about, and no Bethesda game would be complete without at least one bullshit mission. So to unlock Dima's memories, we have to play tower defense by way of Minecraft. Here we learn that Dima killed the original leader of Far Harbor and replaced her with a synth. He's just as bad as the Institute, except this time we can actually follow the thread of logic that would lead him to do this. We can either convince him to turn himself in to be immediately Courier 6. Bro didn't even let him get all the way on his knees. Then all the townsfolk you've helped over the game stick up for you and agree not to attack Acadia. We could do that. Or we could let it ride. Dima pitches another murder and replace scheme for the children of Adam's leader, High Confessor Tectus. Honestly, things between the children and the town aren't even that bad. If Dima turns himself in, that's the end of the quest line. They aren't even really after each other. All their faction quests are completely unrelated. But if you want to go with Dima's plan, you can either kill Tectus, or you can tell him to get lost and pray to Adam he never decides to come back and destroy this extremely fragile piece. Fortunately, 1,000 hours of settlement building has turned me into a professional mason. Atom has demanded we make peace with the people of Far Harbor. Atom also says that the back wall in the basement is his favorite wall, and you should never tear it down or change it in any way. No matter which ending you pick for Far Harbor, you will feel like scum, and that's great. But as long as you don't play it like a complete dipshit, it'll still end on the upbeat note that Kasumi goes back to her parents. When the Fallout fanbase complains that Bethesda could never develop a good Fallout game, this is the game you can slap them in the face with. It's a shame they didn't retain any lessons from it. Do you guys remember how Vault-Tec built vaults to run all kinds of crazy, unethical experiments? Have you ever wanted to build your own? Well, then you should play Fallout Shelter. But if you wanted to do it in Minecraft, I've got the $5 Fallout 4 DLC for you. In the Vault-Tec workshop, we can once again participate in a vault experiment, except this time, we get to be the perpetrator. This one is bad. The experiments aren't even good or funny. Also, every time you place something in the vault, a little bit of the nav mesh gets deleted so NPCs won't walk on it. But because all interior cells share the same nav mesh, whenever you place something in this massive interior cell, you're slowly breaking your game. Bethesda was running an experiment on us the whole time.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
Speaking of sick, twisted experiments, it's time to talk about Nuka World. Do you guys remember the beginning of the video where I said I like Fallout 4? Well, that included all the DLC too, even the absolutely worthless ones. Even the one that straight up breaks your game. Up to this point, Nuka World is probably one of the most tedious things I've ever had to play. I was dreading finishing Far Harbor because I knew I would have to play this next. But it's time. I need to go to Nuka World for some reason, because some guy we met told us to. It doesn't even have the thin veneer of looking for a missing person. He's just like, I've been shot, get on the train. When we arrive, we find ourselves trapped in Joker's funhouse. This isn't really a problem, but at the end we have to fight a guy who's invented a bumper car arena that makes him immune to nuclear weapons. The only thing that can defeat him is a squirt gun, and also nuclear weapons. For some reason, Nuka World operates under the same rules as the Santa Claus, and killing the previous overboss makes us the new overboss. Yeah, I can't imagine setting that precedent will cause any problems. Hey guys, it's me, Big Beak Entertainment, and welcome to Nuka World. Now that I'm the owner of the world's least dangerous amusement park, we'll be shaking hands with danger as we meet the 3 carny gangs that run the park. The Pack, frat bros dressed like they're at a fucking EDM festival. The Operators, a normal gang that actually wants to make money. And the Disciples, the least homicidal amusement park employees. I feel like I'm getting hepatitis just standing here. Now that you're the overboss of this Raider Triple Alliance, you get to do all their work for them. If I'm the overboss, why can't I send literally anyone to do all this? This is a top-down organization. You gotta lead by example, boss. Now you best get to work conquering those other parks. Nuka World has 5 districts: Kitty Kingdom, the World of Refreshment, Dry Rock Gulch, Safari Adventure, and Galactic Zone. 3 of these are literally just busy work, but 2 are actually kind of interesting. In Safari Adventure, you can help Sito, a man raised by gorillas, because for some fucking reason Bethesda already had the character model. We'll also need to contend with Oswald the Outrageous and his army of ghouls. Oswald is a children's magician who adapted to the apocalypse by gaining actual magic powers. At first I thought this was just for show, but he does this shit when no one's looking, so he's just fucking magic. Whoever made Nuka World was obviously not the same guy who made Far Harbor. Holy shit. Far Harbor could have been its own game. Nuka World shouldn't have even been a side quest chain. If Far Harbor embodies all the best qualities of Fallout 4, Nuka World embodies all the worst qualities. 90% of the quests are tedious busy work, there's no discernible theme or story, and besides Sito and Oswald, there's literally no interesting characters in this entire DLC. And honestly, these guys aren't even that good. None of these Raider characters have any nuance, character development, or even any interesting ideas driving them. At least Caesar would spend 30 minutes talking out of his ass about Hegelian dialectics. It's almost like they made this in response to a bunch of dipshit complaints that you couldn't be fully evil in Fallout 4, as if that was the fucking problem. So they had to add this $10 slice of nothing so these players could act out their sadistic fantasies in a video game instead of their middle school. I won't say it's never cathartic to be a dick in an environment where there's no consequences for it, but if I'm playing this for the story, I at least expect some fucking story catharsis. This DLC has a lot of fucking nerve to reach back into the main story by fucking with the Minuteman questline, turning your settlements into cash like fucking J.G. Wentworth, then providing absolute absolutely no story around it. But if you or a loved one has been blueballed by Nuka World, you do have recourse. Embrace your inner Canadian and liberate the town single-handedly through extreme violence. And if you really want to have a good time, hit that quick save button, turn on God mode, grab your Merv launcher, and make your game look like one of my videos. Can I be real with you guys for a second? I don't get people that passionately hate this game. You like Fallout 4? You've lost all credibility. Damn. You thought I had credibility? Me? The funny toucan man whose most celebrated video is me bitching about Charlie fucking Brown? Is the writing simplistic? Yes. Is any criticism you can level against this game valid? Yes. Are the synthetic gorillas the stupidest thing I've ever seen? Yes. But do I give a fuck? Of course not, because you can open the door and watch them literally go gorilla shit. But why is Fallout 4 my favorite Fallout game? I don't fully know. There's something ineffable about Fallout 4 for me, and if I ever unironically use the phrase Bethesda magic, I want you to shoot me in the face with a gun. But there's something about this game I can't put my finger on. Maybe it's the characters, maybe it's the setting, maybe I just like the New England vibes. I fully recognize the game's flaws, the weak villain for one, but also Fallout 4 really needed a fourth act. I just excavated a new radioactive crater in the middle of the city and scattered hundreds of mad scientists around the Commonwealth. This decision should have some blowback, some response, some fallout. Fallout 4 is a collection of great ideas that don't interact with each other in a meaningful way. It's disjointed and lends the game an almost improvisational quality. It doesn't elevate itself above its tropes and results in a product that isn't greater than the sum of its parts. In Fallout 3, you could blow through the main story without even really absorbing it. New Vegas used factional conflict to create branching outcomes that players had to actively choose by prioritizing quest lines of whatever faction they were supporting. Fallout 4 has similar quests where you have to choose which faction you're going to support, but the entirety of New Vegas, every quest, every character, every interaction was built around the main story of conflict between the Legion, NCR, and House. I can't think of a quest that doesn't somehow inform the player's view of that conflict and those factions. In Fallout 4, I'm not sure I could even tell you what most of these factions actually do here. I can guess what they're about, but it's rare to see the literal impact they have on the world. I guess there's something to be said for subtlety. As good as the story of New Vegas is, it's about as subtle as a brick through a window. Characters will just tell you their life story and moral philosophy on demand like they're queuing up for a fucking TED Talk. Fallout 4 makes you work a little bit harder for it, but when you do start putting in the effort and learning about how characters are connected in the lore, you'll go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? And you'll start seeing all the missed opportunities. Fallout 4 really is a game of missed opportunities. Like going to the Institute and learning that Mayor McCheese actually is a synth. Wouldn't it be cool to tell Piper and see her reaction? Yeah, it would've. Overall, Fallout 4 isn't a bad game, or even a bad Fallout game. All of the pieces for a really great and poignant game are here. They just didn't fucking finish it. I will also say that playing without mods again feels like drag racing on a fucking penny farthing bicycle. That's why when fanboys say modders will fix Starfield with a straight face, I fucking believe them. I can't think of another business that's benefited as much from free labor since the fucking plantation economy. I guess it's nice that the modders like doing it, but when I pay $60 for a video game, I don't like it to be with the understanding that I'll have to download 20 nudity mods later because Jimmy the Pervert is patching in the rest of the story. But maybe I'm giving Bethesda too much credit. After all, it would be disingenuous to suggest this isn't the game they wanted to make, and it's unfair of me to pretend Fallout 4 is the game I imagine it to be. I just wish they would take that last step of curiosity to ask why the fuck any of these people are here. Oh god, please like and subscribe, please. I want that fucking plaque so much. Here's the deal. If half the people who make it to the end of this thing subscribe, I can get it. I can only put something out once every 3 months anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna spam your subscription feed. But anyway, that's a wrap on the Fallout trilogy. Kinda weird that it started with 3 and ended with 4, but I guess Bethesda just numbers these things however the fuck they feel like. I thought about making a video on Fallout 76, but I'm worried that I wouldn't understand it if I didn't play Fallouts 5 through 75 first. And since it looks like we're not gonna get Fallout 5 before the fucking heat death of the universe, I originally wanted my next video to be on Starfield, but as a favor to Bethesda, I wanted them to get at least some DLC out before I take a sledgehammer to it. But it turns out Obsidian already made Starfield, except they called it The Outer Worlds. So the next video is going to be on that. But first, a very special surprise for a very special cohort of my subscribers. Speaking of very special subscribers, I now have a Patreon where you can give me money. In exchange, you get access to monthly patron updates on just what the hell I've been doing, as well as early video access, including access so early it might as well be exclusive content. I'm currently torturing myself by reviewing every Disney Channel original movie ever made, but because that video is on the same production schedule as Fallout 5, I'm doing it segment by segment on the Patreon feed. All that being said, I want to give a very special thank you to the cabal of Chads bankrolling this exercise in pointlessness, and an extra special shout out to all the taxpayers who support me for no benefits and the ultimate act of self-sacrifice, and all the Canadians who have to pay the Canadian tax to convert their monopoly money into real money. I've kind of made the executive decision that I don't want to take any sponsorships because I don't want to have to pretend that I have some deep abiding love of some anime mobile game. So if you want to join the ranks of people with disposable income, check out patreon.com/BigBeak Entertainment.